Welcome to Miller Electric Company. Today's program is going to cover important information to help you as you transition to a new career with one of the industry's premier electrical contractors. Miller Electric has been in operation since 1928. That was the year Henry G. Miller started a small electrical company in Jacksonville, Florida. Growing a small business meant an unsurpassed dedication to quality work and excellent customer service. Adhering to these principles, Miller Electric has evolved as one of the premier electrical contracting companies in the Southeast. Our commitment to quality and excellence has earned us many awards, as well as a reputation as a leader in our industry. As part of our team, we know you will help us continue our efforts to keep Miller Electric the preferred electrical contractor for all of our clients nationwide. An important aspect of the company's success is due to a strong commitment to a safe and healthy work environment. This commitment is summed up in the Safety and Health Policy Statement, endorsed by company CEO Henry Brown and President David Long.
It is the policy of Miller Electric Company to provide a safe and healthy work environment for all employees, to plan and conduct all operations with a maximum emphasis on safety, and to abide by all safety regulations applicable to our work.
The safety and health of our employees must receive first consideration throughout all phases of the work. All employees must be completely aware of the responsibility they accept and carry out to prevent health impairment due to occupational exposure and to achieve an accident-free workplace.
David is right. No aspect of administration or operation is more important than accident prevention. All supervisors have the responsibility for the prevention of accidents on work under their direction, and for the instruction and training of employees under their supervision. While safety training and direction is the responsibility of supervisory personnel, the creation of a truly safe workplace requires the daily, active participation of every employee. Training programs and safe job procedures exist for every area of our operations. All employees are expected to participate in, read, understand, and abide by these safe operating practices. Any employee who willfully disregards these procedures will be subject to disciplinary action.
We have adopted a safety program that will help ensure the high standards of safety in all aspects of the company's work. We have also assigned the responsibility for the implementation and administration of this program to our safety director and divisional vice presidents.
They are required to develop and maintain practices and job rules consistent with the company's loss control policies and procedures. Our goal is to eliminate personal injuries, property damage, and needless waste that accompany unsafe practices.
We encourage each of you to join in us actively supporting safe work habits. The bottom line is, at the end of the day, everyone goes home. That's what we strive for, that's what we work for, and that's what we expect every day.
Miller Electric, like every successful company, adopts a set of guidelines and procedures for all employees to follow. Here's Michelle with the details.
Thanks, Terry. An employee handbook containing company policies and procedures is distributed to each new employee. The handbook covers these topics: anti-harassment and non-discrimination, intimidation, threats, and violent acts, equal employment opportunity, computer network and internet access, safety discipline policy, workers' compensation insurance, work and job rules. For detailed information on these topics, please refer to the handbook. One important rule to remember is to call your supervisor if you are not able to come to work. Make sure you know your supervisor's name and cell phone number. Also, in the event of an emergency, such as a hurricane or tornado, call your supervisor to advise them of your situation. You will also find an employee acknowledgement form in the back of the book. This form must be signed and turned in. The form is used to verify that each employee receives the employee handbook. On the back of the employee acknowledgement form is a short test on the information contained in this orientation. You will be instructed to complete this test at the end of this program. Two of the topics in the handbook, equal employment opportunity and substance abuse, are discussed in today's program. Miller Electric is committed to providing equal employment opportunities for everyone. This is expressed in the Equal Employment Opportunity Policy statement included in the Employee Handbook. It is the policy and practice of Miller Electric Company to recruit and hire qualified applicants for employment regardless of their race, color, creed, religion, sex, age, national origin, or physical disability. Please read the complete policy statement in your handbook. Miller Electric also adheres to the anti-harassment and non-discrimination policy included in the Employee Handbook. It states the company's commitment to a work environment in which all individuals are treated with respect and dignity. Each individual has the right to work in a professional atmosphere that promotes equal employment opportunities and prohibits discriminatory practices, including harassment. Harassment is not tolerated, whether physical, sexual, verbal, or any other manner. Also, Miller Electric encourages reporting all perceived incidents of discrimination or harassment. Retaliation against any individual who reports harassment or discriminatory practices is prohibited. Additional information can be found in the Employee Handbook. Please report any and all types of discrimination or harassment to the Human Resources Department. Miller Electric also has a comprehensive substance abuse policy. Details are included in the Employee Handbook, and information is also available from the Human Resources and Safety Department. Here's Terry with a closer look at the substance abuse policy.
The policy states that Miller Electric Company is committed to safeguarding the health of our employees, providing a safe place to work, and supplying our customers with the highest quality of service possible. The objective of this program is to provide a safe and productive workplace environment free from drug and alcohol abuse. This policy provides guidance to all employees and supervisors concerning Miller Electric's position on the use of controlled substances and their effect on the workplace. Additionally, this policy provides standards for those Miller Electric Company employees who have a commercial driver license, or CDL, as a requirement of their job. This class of employee is subject to drug and alcohol testing rules established by the Federal Highway Administration in 49 CFR 382, Controlled Substances and Alcohol Use and Testing, and 49 CFR 40, Procedure for Transportation Workplace Drug and Alcohol Testing Programs. Definitions of terms, types of testing, testing procedures, and consequences of a positive test are all explained in detail in our policy statement. Types of testing include pre-employment, random testing, reasonable suspicion, routine fitness for duty, follow-up, customer requirements, post-vehicular and equipment machine accident testing, and post-workers' compensation accident testing. To meet regulatory requirements for CDL holders, 2 random testing pools are established. Random testing will be administered to the average number of CDL holders at the annual rate of 25% for alcohol and 50% for controlled substances. The second random testing pool is for all other Miller Electric Company employees and will be administered to the average number of employees at the annual rate of 10%. Only tests for controlled substances will be administered to this group, unless there is reasonable suspicion of alcohol use evident to the test administrator. Employees who did not report for the random test to provide a sample within 3 hours will be considered to have refused to cooperate and subject to disciplinary action up to and including termination of employment. Upon reporting to the testing facility, employees must verify their identity by providing a picture identification issued by a state or federal government entity. Examples are a driver's license, military identification, or concealed weapons permit. Failure to provide identification shall be considered the same as refusal to take the test, and the employee shall be terminated immediately. Reporting time for reasonable suspicion or post-accident or injury is 2 hours. There is no time stipulation for pre-employment testing. Failure to provide a specimen within the allotted time frame will result in immediate termination. An employee may be terminated immediately if, after signing in at the testing facility, an employee leaves before providing a specimen, an employee is unable to provide a sufficient specimen to the testing facility unless due to medical condition. The temperature of the specimen is outside the normal range, 90 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. It will be considered the same as if the test was adulterated or the specimen was substituted. A first offense for a positive test result is immediate termination. The individual is not eligible for rehire for 30 days, with the exception of Georgia, where the individual is not eligible for rehire for 6 months from the time of termination. Consequences for second and third offenses are described in the Employee Handbook. During the 180-day period after written notification of a positive test result, the employee who has provided the specimen shall be permitted by the company to have a portion of the specimen retested at the employee's expense. For specific details, refer to the Substance Abuse Policy Statement. Hazard communication is an essential component of Miller Electric's safety program. Awareness and understanding of the chemicals stored or used at job sites is critical for the safety of all employees. The hazard communication policy includes 3 main topics: labeling, safety data sheets, and information and training. Supervisors shall ensure that each container of hazardous chemicals is labeled, tagged, or marked with appropriate information identifying the contents. Copies of safety data sheets must be available to each employee at the worksite for all chemicals present at their location. Miller Electric maintains an up-to-date library of SDS sheets on their safety webpage, www.mecosafety.com. Employees will be provided effective information and training on hazardous materials at the time of their initial assignment and whenever a new physical or health hazard is introduced into their work area. Further details are outlined in the Hazard Communication Policy in your handbook. Now here's Michelle to talk about important safety guidelines.
Miller Electric utilizes a comprehensive safety guidelines and procedures program to promote safe working conditions at all job sites. It starts with accident prevention. It is imperative that all employees understand the safety guidelines and follow them at all times. Reporting any unsafe condition to your supervisor is critical. Correcting the problem in a timely manner will help prevent an incident. If an injury occurs, report it to your supervisor, regardless of the severity. All injuries must be reported immediately, even if you do not wish to see a doctor. Accident prevention starts with wearing personal protective equipment, or PPE. Eye and face protection includes wearing safety glasses at all times on all company projects. Remember that prescriptive eyewear must meet ANSI Z87.1 criteria. Side shields must be used whenever prescriptive eyewear does not have integrated wraparound protection. Goggles must be worn when activities produce projectiles or chemical splash hazards. And during grinding operations, face shields are required. As shields protect the face and goggles and safety glasses protect the eyes, both must be worn. Proper head protection is very important. Type 2 Class E hard hats are mandatory. All company-supplied hard hats meet this requirement. Anytime you are performing a task that has the potential for a hand injury, you are required to wear the appropriate hand protection. You can select a cut-resistant protective glove, leather work gloves, or general purpose gloves. Since these gloves each protect the worker from separate hazards, it may be necessary to wear multiple types of gloves throughout the workday, as tasks routinely change. Adequate foot protection means wearing the proper shoes or boots. Heavy-duty work shoes are required. Employees are encouraged to wear hardened or steel-toed shoes to provide more protection. Additionally, each employee should only report to the workplace with sturdy work-type pants and shirts with sleeves. Sweatpants, tank tops, and similar style apparel is not appropriate for the work environment. PPE includes hearing protection as well. When working on a project with increased noise exposure, wear approved earmuffs or plugs. This is especially important at manufacturing facilities and paper mills. Back injuries can be minimized by using proper lifting techniques. Always get help if an item is too heavy or awkward. Make sure you have secure footing. Keep your back straight. Always lift with your legs. And make sure you have a good grip. Working with ladders is a daily occurrence. Proper use will keep you and those working around you safe. First, always set up an extension ladder in the proper position. This means using a 4-to-1 ratio. For every 4 feet the ladder is elevated, the bottom of the ladder must be spaced out from the wall or structure 1 foot. When using an extension ladder to access a building roof or landing, it must extend 3 feet above the landing. Typically, this means that 3 rungs of the ladder will extend beyond the landing surface. Also, have a coworker foot the ladder when ascending or descending. Keep the foot of the ladder level and on a surface free of debris. When using a stepladder, make sure it is fully open and the spreader bars are locked in place. Never stand on the top 2 steps, as this can make the ladder top heavy and unstable. Also, don't walk the ladder while you are standing on it. It only takes a few seconds to step off and then move to the position you need. Your safety is far more valuable to us than the moments saved by taking a shortcut. Always work within the limits of the equipment you are using. This applies to ladders as well. Ladders are designed for you to be centered on them. Never turn around while working from a ladder. Always face forward and keep both feet flat on the same rung. Another good rule is to keep your belt buckle within the side rails of the ladder. Overextending can be extremely dangerous. Again, it only takes a few seconds to step off the ladder and reposition it. Before using a ladder, you should inspect it for damage. Ensure that there are no broken or missing rungs and that the treads are free from oil or greasy substances. Any damaged ladders must be removed from service and disposed of immediately. Once you've determined that the ladder is in good working order, you should observe the weight rating on the ladder. Overloading a ladder can result in a fall or a collapse. Either lower the weight you are carrying on the ladder or find a ladder with the weight rating your work requires. Remember, always observe proper safety guidelines when using a ladder. Do not go up and down a ladder without the free use of both hands. Remember the 3 points of contact rule. Use a rope to lift or lower any tools or materials. And always face the ladder when climbing or descending.
Comprehensive fall protection program is used at Miller Electric to help employees recognize and prevent fall hazards. The program applies to personnel working above a lower level and are subject to the possibility of falling, or could have an object fall and injure themselves and/or others. A detailed explanation is included in the Employee Handbook. Today, we'd like to cover some of the basic guidelines aimed at preventing injuries from falls. The 6-foot rule is a key part of the program. Guidelines, procedures, and equipment are designed to prevent falls of more than 6 feet. Each employee on a walking or working surface, horizontal or vertical, with an unprotected side or edge which is 6 feet or more above a lower level, must be protected from falling by the use of guardrail systems, safety net systems, or personal fall arrest systems. Proper anchor points are critical to a proper personal fall arrest system. Anchorage points used for attaching personal fall arrest equipment must be capable of supporting at least 5,000 pounds per employee. A rule of thumb is would this anchor point hold a small pickup truck? When appropriate, a body harness should be used. This device must be worn as instructed to provide adequate protection. Always inspect the harness before each use. Check that all hooks, straps, and securement devices are in good working condition. It is important that any attachment device be used at the proper height to limit contact with the lower level. When using a 6-foot shock-absorbing lanyard, the attachment distance should be at least 17.5 feet above the ground. A variety of lanyards can be used in a personal fall arrest system. The lanyard often contains its own deceleration device that is intended to greatly reduce arresting forces. Lanyards should not have any knots, and they should never be wrapped around sharp objects. The use of a self-retracting lifeline can also be used as part of a personal fall arrest system. With the shorter activation distance and shorter overall arresting distance, self-retracting lifelines reduce the risk of hitting the ground or any obstructions at a lower level. Whether using shock-absorbing lanyards or self-retracting lifelines, it is very important to position your anchorage point directly overhead whenever possible to reduce the pendulum effect during a fall event. A fall protection training certification is necessary before an employee may use the components of a personal fall arrest system. If you do not have a current certificate, you will be required to attend the training before being permitted to conduct work that requires the use of harnesses or lanyards.
The Lockout Tagout program is designed to prevent electrically related injuries and property damage. It applies to all Miller Electric Company personnel and provides for proper training of employees to ensure they have the requisite knowledge and understanding of lockout tagout practices and procedures. First, let's cover basic shutdown procedures. It should be noted that certain steps of a proper lockout tagout procedure is considered energized work. These steps should only be performed by qualified and designated personnel. Turn off the appropriate equipment. Isolate from the energy source. Next, apply locks and tags to the energy isolating device. Release all potentially hazardous stored or potential energy. Finally, the qualified person must verify that the equipment is de-energized before any circuits or equipment are considered electrically safe. Again, voltage testing is considered energized work and requires the qualified person to use the appropriate PPE. Proper steps must also be followed during startup. A qualified person must conduct test and visual inspections as necessary to verify that all tools, electrical jumpers, shorts, grounds, and other such devices have been removed. Doing this means that circuits and equipment can be safely energized. Warn employees exposed to the hazards associated with re-energizing the circuit or equipment to stay clear of circuits and equipment. Make sure everyone is in a safe position. Now, remove the lock and tag from each energy isolating device. They must be removed by the employee who applied it or under his or her direct supervision. Once you have verified that there are no exposed conductors or circuit parts, it is safe to notify the affected employees that lockout tagout removal is complete. Proper steps must also be followed during startup. A qualified person must conduct test and visual inspections as necessary to verify that all tools, electrical jumpers, shorts, grounds, and other such devices have been removed. Doing this means the circuits and equipment can be safely energized. Due to applicable laws, federal regulations, and most importantly, your own personal safety, absolutely no employees are authorized to operate circuit breakers, disconnects, medium voltage switches, replace fuses, or perform any other energized work on circuits greater than 50 volts to ground without first receiving documented training in electrical safety-related work practices, avoidance techniques, and the laws governing the allowable performance of energized work. Once designated as a qualified person by Miller Electric Company, retraining must be maintained at intervals not to exceed 3 years. Because the hazards involved are so great, failure to adhere to Miller Electric Company's energized work policy is grounds for immediate dismissal. If you find that you are unsure about a certain task, please consult the company's safety manual or feel free to contact the safety department for further clarification. The following photographs, while very graphic, are reminders of what could happen if these safety guidelines are not followed.
Miller Electric is committed to providing safe equipment and a safe and healthy work environment. This commitment starts at the top with our president, David Long. And it's shared by employees in every department and all areas of operations. Your health and safety is our highest priority, but we need your help. By following all safety rules and procedures, together we can make Miller Electric the safest company in the industry. We have created a set of safety core values which form the foundation on which we should perform our work and conduct ourselves. 0 injuries. Any accident is a failure of the safety program. Therefore, the only meaningful goal is 0. Safety culture. We shall sustain a workplace where it is ingrained that safety is essential to daily operations. Risk management. We will only attempt activities that we can perform without injuring people or damaging property. Compliance. Safety and health compliance is everyone's responsibility and a condition of employment. Leadership. Management will be involved in this safety program at all levels within Miller Electric Company. All supervisors shall lead by direct example and through appropriate decision-making. Our core values are the basic elements of how we go about our work and the practices we use every day in everything we do. Unlike priorities, these values remain constant and are never changing, because at the end of the day, everyone goes home.
Safety is not something we do when it's convenient. We practice it every day.
Let's make today a safe day.
I've been doing this work about 12 years, and I've learned in that time that people can get hurt very fast. You absolutely can't afford to cut corners.
And at the end of the day, everyone goes home.
Welcome to Miller Electric Company. At Miller Electric, safety is an important part of our operations. Our success in providing a safe and healthy work environment relies heavily on the teamwork of all personnel. Working safely depends on trust, cooperation, communication, and personal responsibility. When everyone accepts that they are not only responsible for their own safety, but the safety of their coworkers, you begin to see the true meaning of team safety. Thank you.